Hello, 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 and welcome to the channel. I know it's a little bit late, but I wanted to get in there and talk about that game four we saw. What a game, huh? So surprising. I mean, we thought the Spurs pretty much had this series evened up. It was going to game five, two apiece. But then inexperience again from the Spurs, just making boneheaded plays down the stretch. The Knicks never giving up and fighting back. One of the probably the biggest deficit in one of the biggest deficits in NBA Finals history, and you know, and kudos to the Knicks. They're pretty much in a position where they got one hand on the trophy, and 3-1 lead is like almost insurmountable. There is usually no one comes back from 3-1. It has happened once with LeBron and the Cavs, but we don't expect that to be the case. So yeah, the Knicks are like almost home and dry, hose are dry. So let's talk about this game four. I mean, with with um with like the third quarter, they were down 29, right? And then in the fourth quarter, I mean, the Spurs were still up. They were doing great. And this comeback is, bigger than the Celtics' 24-point comeback in 2008. But at that point, I mean, the Spurs were great, and the Knicks win probability was like in the negatives. And going into, I mean, I noticed that they were taking tough threes, missing tough threes. They were making some plays that were like very careless. And really, what did it for me was that De'Aaron Fox's last play. Like you get a rebound, you're up one, just dribble the ball out and get fouled. Why do you try to go to the rim? You go to the rim, you don't make the play, they get the ball, they come back down the stretch and they get a possession to win the game. Like that's just a boneheaded play, and I look at that and I go, oh, he's supposed to be the experienced one, but this team is very young, and this is why they're in the position they are right now, and they're probably not going to win the series. Most likely not going to win the series. So for the Knicks, I mean, it was amazing. They never quit. They made the plays on Arnold with the tip in, which was great. To win the game, and the Knicks pretty much they led only 53 seconds for the entire series. That's the lowest of an entire game. That's the lowest ever since the merger, and that's kind of crazy because in all accounts, the Spurs should have won this game. If you look at all the metrics, they should have won this game, but they didn't, and and that's why they're not going to win this championship. I mean, look at the possession, tower possession, the possession metrics, and you can kind of see that the Spurs were dominating the whole first half. In the third quarter, then the Knicks took over. Ever since that Wemby flagrant one sparks the Knicks run. Um, and then 1 minute left, Castle outbounds the ball in panic. Fox rushes a layup with less than 50 seconds left. That was the play I was talking about. And we blocked that play, and then he got the tip in after he got the free run. After the inbounds pass, with uh one with about like let's say 2 seconds left, which that's just amazing. I mean, the Spurs, young team, right? Dominated the first half. The second half just fell off. Just fell off in focus, in focus in the offensive play, focus in defensive play, and they just let the Knicks continue to make way little by little into the game and until the end, and that was pretty much it. And also the Knicks having the home crown, that really helped. Um, yeah, 3 pointers. They was taking a lot of 3 pointers in the second half and missing them, and maybe a more experienced team tries to get inside, get some easy plays, get some free throws, to keep the possessions going, but they didn't, and that cost them. So this play is what I was talking about. I mean, I think this is probably the game that cost them. The play that cost them the game. You know how in the game two, after the Spurs defended Bronson, they got a rebound. Wemby had the ball, and it was tied game, and he throws the ball, hits Castle in the back because he didn't look, and then Bronson gets the ball and gets free throws and wins the game. Right? That happened in game two. Same here. You know, Fox has the ball. It's like less than 50 seconds left. If he just dribbles the ball, bleed the clock, the Knicks foul him, he shoots free throws, they win the game, most likely. But he goes and attacks the rim, gets blocked, then they get the possession, and they get the last play and they win the game. So it's like in the moment when it happened, I was like, why is he trying? Why is he not dribbling the ball? Because you have the clock on your side. It didn't make no sense to me, and that cost them the game. Charles Barkley said, yeah, that was a dumb play, and it was. I mean, the last play was just unbelievable putback. I mean, Brunson gets the ball. Wemby's out of position. Brunson takes a shot, he misses, but then Nobi, who's open after the inbound, just puts the ball back in. Free around the lane, and that was it. Yeah, so now, I mean, the the this series has been close, especially games 2, 3, and 4. Well, games 2 and 4 have been really close. Those have been series deciding games, I think. Um, you know, because if the Spurs, you know, execute down the stretch in those two games, they probably up 3-1, or they at least the series is 2-2. But they don't, then they get those in those executes and get those games wrapped up, and now the Knicks are in position to clinch in Game 5 on the road. So Spurs, I think it's just unfortunate that the inexperience showed out, and yeah, the Knicks right now, congratulations, pretty much. I mean, they have one and a half hands on the trophy at this point. They should win this title. So, um, I mean, the viewership has been great for this finals. I think the game three was the most watched NBA Finals game since like game six in 2019. So viewership is there, and I think game four is probably going to be even bigger because of the comeback. And you got to say, I think when the New York Knicks or when the New York sports teams are great, the country gets buzzed up and excited. So it's definitely going to be great to see that you know Knicks New York win and New York be excited and the country's going to be hyped, and the sports culture is going to be amazing right now because in New York they're excited about their team, and they got the World Cup going there, so the World Cup final could also be in a couple of weeks. So New York's excited going on right now, and I think it's good for the vibes. So good stuff. I mean, we know how the both teams were built. Um, the Knicks through free trades and acquisitions, the Spurs through the draft and lotteries, and Spurs are just like right now they're just too experienced, and the Knicks have more veteran. They have the experienced coach, the experienced players, and they're trying to capture history. It's been 53 years since the championship, so I mean, excited for them to get this one, and yeah, for all the New Yorkers as well. I mean, both stars played well. That's not a problem. It's just like the plays down the stretch that kind of Wembanyama didn't have enough impact in the end of the game as opposed to Brunson, but just the decision making at the end of the game was really cost the Spurs in this series, and the Knicks made the right decisions. Yeah, I mean, just panic at the end of the game, it's costing the Spurs. Just not knowing how to execute. And the Knicks are doing better at that, and it just the Spurs have been overwhelmed in the moment. I mean, game five is emotional, right? Because the Knicks got game four, they got the 3-1 lead, so they're kind of playing with house money. But you don't want to be let the Spurs have life and give them game five, and then you come to game six and you never know. So if I'm the Knicks, just go out there, close it out, get the chip. So that's really what's going to be. And for the Spurs, just try and get this game five. If you get to game five, hey, you're still alive. So there's still a lot to play for, but I think the Knicks are inevitably going to win this series, even if not in game five, in game six. yeah, I mean, most people think Spurs can win game five. But the series is still looking like the Knicks are gonna win it. So there, it's now the Knicks is all or nothing, right? Do they win this chip or not? I mean, we'll see what happens. And yeah, game five is gonna be exciting. Get to watch. So that's all I have. Hope you enjoyed the content. Like, subscribe. We will be there for game five, and we'll see what happens there. Exciting times. And that's all I have for you today. Remember, Jesus loves you.